Hello everyone, I'm Lauren Andrego. Welcome to TommieMedia's The Locker Room. The St. Thomas football team's 2016 campaign ended just shy of a second consecutive national championship appearance in a 34-31 NCAA quarterfinal loss to Wisconsin Oshkosh. As a backup quarterback, Jacques Perra played in more than half of the games last season. Fullback Jeremy Molina returns for his fourth year for the Tommies after leading the way for running backs Tucker Treadle and Josh Parks, who both rushed for nearly 1,000 yards in 2016. I'm joined today by head football coach Glenn Caruso, Jacques Perra, and Jeremy Molina. Guys, thanks for coming in today.
Happy to be here.
Coach, the full 2017 roster hasn't had the chance to practice all together yet. But from what you know about the players, particularly the seniors coming in next year, what would you predict the greatest strength of the team is going to be?
I would hope it's their leadership abilities. I can't really predict it fully because in spring you don't get to see everything, but people moving into new roles. We were just speaking before the show about last year's guys like Mike Lalata, guys like Joe Reed, like Alex Fensky. These were guys that worked really, really hard for 3 or 4 years and had one opportunity their senior year to start. And so they've had to learn new roles. And when they leave, I mean, that's kind of our job to graduate guys, right? And when they leave, we've got to make sure that other guys step into their shoes, and that's exactly what they've been working on doing.
Certainly. And Jacques, as I mentioned earlier, you've had a lot of experience playing as a backup quarterback. So what kind of edge do you think that gives you going into next season as a starter?
I think it does give me some experience that I got to play in a couple games last year, but mostly just learning behind Alex Fensky. He just did a great job as a leader and really taught me and showed me the way that I should take the team.
Yeah, Alex Fensky especially. What would you say you most admire of his work last season?
I think the biggest thing that he did was lead by example. Everything he did was just like pretty perfect. Like everything he did wasn't anything that shouldn't be done. He just was just a great leader by example, and it was awesome just being behind him and learning.
Of course, great. And Jeremy, in the last 3 years, you've had the opportunity to play with a lot of talented running backs. The function of a fullback is pretty straightforward, but what would you say, how does your role change from player to player that you block?
That I block for?
Yeah.
Okay, I really don't think anything changes. I think all our guys, all our running backs, you know, they run with a purpose. They run in a similar style even, and I guess it really doesn't matter who's, who I'm blocking for. It's, it ends up coming down to the team, and either way, they're my brothers, and I'm gonna fight for them, as hard as I can. So.
Awesome. And Coach, I kind of alluded to it. After taking the year off for injury, Jordan Roberts is going to be returning as a running back. How would you say his role on the team is going to change from the 2015 season, especially with now a surplus of talented running backs on the team?
Well, I think what a lot of people don't realize going back to 2015 is they take a snapshot at the end of the year and they look at these players and the roles that they were in. But at the beginning of the year, Jordan was brand new and still learning, and didn't start the first 2 games and then grew into that role. Like anybody else, they earn it. And nothing was ever handed to him. So his work ethic was phenomenal. He ends up being an All-American Player of the Year with 2,000 yards. But in his absence last year, one of the things I love about these guys in the culture is that in his absence, guys like Josh Parks, like you said in the beginning, rushed for almost 1,000 yards as a freshman. Guys like Tucker Treadle really took the reins, not just in terms of the yardage that he got, but really the leadership. So now you have those guys back, plus guys like Jeremy who can play tailback in a heartbeat, and then you insert Jordan in it. So it's going to be a competitive pool, obviously, and we're going to find ways to be able to utilize whatever talents are given to them. But I just love the way that the guys have come together. That's the biggest thing for me.
Yeah, certainly.
Yep.
We'll be back after this short message.
Barbers learn the traditional techniques of barbering. We utilize straight edge razors. We do a lot of clipper cuts, a lot of tapering, fading. I've been in this location for 12 years. I have clients that have been cutting their hair since they were 4 years old. Get to have conversations with these kids, and it keeps me on my toes.
And now it's time for this week's fan question. Jacques and Jeremy, sophomore Jake Goblish wants to know, what 2016 senior will you most miss next year? Whoever wants to start first.
That's an easy one for me. Probably Michael Jelly. He's a character in the running back group, and he brought a certain edge to the team, to our group and to the team that we otherwise would have missed without him. So that was, I guess it's kind of sad that he's gone now. Definitely.
I would say Alex Fensky, but I talked about him a little bit, so I'm going to say Nick Wallvogel. He's just a pretty good friend of mine and a really good leader on and off the field. Everything he did was just awesome to be around, so.
Awesome.
I'd say
Coach,
Nick.
I'm not going to make you choose, but what about the class of, like this senior class, will you most miss?
Just the time we have together. That's it. And you're smart to not ask because you can't choose. It's like asking to pick a favorite kid. But obviously, this being our last show, that we're going to see a lot of TommieMedia seniors graduating as well. And they've done an unbelievable job over the last 4 years building this culture. And we're happy to see them move on, but sad at the same time. So all the best to you.
Well, thank you, and we really appreciate always having you guys in.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
If you have a fan question, tweet it to @TommieMedia. Thanks for joining us, and be sure to follow TommieMedia's sports coverage throughout the summer. With Glenn Caruso, Jacques Perra, and Jeremy Molina, I'm Lauren Andrego. We'll see you this fall in The Locker Room.